Now this is something that has weighed on me since the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, who captivated the world over with his performance as King T'Challa, the Black Panther. Should they recast the character, or should they retire him indefinitely? Well, the latter has already been decided by the studio, responsible for bringing the character to life on the big screen. Marvel Studios, the comic book juggernaut, who has dominated the film industry for over 12 years, was put in a difficult spot when the late actor passed away unexpectedly on the 28th of August, 2020. Boseman was set to begin filming on a much anticipated sequel to 2018's Black Panther, which was a cultural phenomenon. It has the claim to be one of the biggest films to transcend the genre, and even the audience that would be invested in a comic book movie. A large fraction of the audience for Black Panther were black people, both young and old, but more importantly families made up of different generations who were attracted to the movie, based on what it represented for black people as a whole everywhere. For decades, Hollywood has failed to represent black people in a positive light. In fact, minorities as a whole. But that would lead to a whole different topic. Black Panther marked a change in the status quo, in how it depicted black people. We were no longer the drug dealer, the seedy criminal, the slave, the stereotype that has long been pushed by the industry. We were now being celebrated as royalty, inventors and innovators, people who were rich beyond measure, a nation united and proud of their culture and history. T'Challa was our entry point into a fictional part of the world that felt real and closer to what many envision a black society could be. Okay, so back to the main topic at hand, as to whether or not T'Challa should be recast. Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel Studios, along with Ryan Coogler, the director responsible for bringing us the first film, and the upcoming sequel, which is currently in production, opted to retire the character. This ultimately means that T'Challa will be killed off or absent in the sequel. I know many are okay with this because they think it's a fitting way to pay tribute to the late actor. How can it pay tribute to Boseman, who has done everything in his ability to inspire black people by taking on roles that celebrated the legacy of famous black figures, who have long left us behind, but their achievements have impacted generations of people? He played Jackie Robinson, the first African American to play Major League Baseball in 2013's 42. James Brown, the godfather of soul, in the 2014 film Get On Up. Thurgood Marshall, the first African American Supreme Court Justice in the United States of America's history in 2017's Marshall. Boseman played these real-life influential figures, yet his legacy seems to be tied to one character who only became a significant part of many people's lives until he was given the live-action treatment. Black Panther is a comic book character that has existed since the 60s, a time where comic books lacked any black representation, until Black Panther was conceived, becoming the first black superhero to be created in the medium, and one that went on to appear in various media for 55 years. We've had T'Challa appear in his own TV series made for BET, the 1994 Fantastic Four animated series, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the upcoming What If series, which is the final acting credit for Chadwick Boseman, who does the voice acting for the character. He's even set to appear in his own standalone adventure in an upcoming expansion for the Marvel's Avengers game. While there's a vast difference between animated and live-action content, I think the same practice should be taken from the former medium. Keep the character going. I love Boseman's portrayal of T'Challa. He had a unique charm to him that made him the perfect choice to play the character. There was no doubt in anyone's mind when he was cast in the role, or when he first made his debut in Captain America Civil War. T'Challa had finally arrived, and his future in the cinematic universe looked bright. Chadwick did an amazing job of embodying the character and making it his own. To the point, I know it will be hard to see anyone new step into the role, at least for now. I think Marvel is being careful in the way they handle the character, because it might be insensitive to the actor to recast him immediately after his death. But also, it would cause an uproar from fans who believe no one else can play T'Challa, which is far from the truth. Actors come and go. We've had numerous actors play the same character and bring a different take on it that doesn't necessarily affect the previous actor's performance. Both stand on their own as separate performances, unique to that talent. There might be a comparison between the new and the old, because there are things that can either be good or bad between the different versions. While I sympathize with the actor's family and loved ones, and appreciate what he gave to bring us his version of T'Challa, the character doesn't need to end with his passing. His legacy is not a single character, but all of the roles he's played, and just the person we the audience have come to love through the films he's been a part of throughout his career. It just seems rash writing out the only black character whose existence means so much to black men. No, black children who had a sense of pride seeing a superhero like T'Challa on the big screen. Even with the diversity in comic book movies and within the MCU, there are still very few black role models that children can latch onto. Yes, there's War Machine and even Falcon, who has upgraded to Captain America, but they are far from being on the level of the Wakandan King. A new actor coming on board and taking over the role that Chadwick started just carries on his will. He would have played this character as long as he could have, even with his deteriorating health. Someone new would allow the character to continue to exist within the universe and give us more adventures, more stories that takes from the rich history T'Challa has in the comics. There's still so much to tell with the king, who has only just taken his rightful place on the throne. Cutting his rule this short, before he can even reach the same heights as his veteran peers in the MCU, seems short-sighted. Every other white hero in the universe has gotten the chance to complete a set story arc, so why not give the same opportunity to the one black hero that showed the most potential? God forbid if any of the actors behind Captain America, Iron Man, or Thor had passed away early on in their stint in the shared universe. I'm sure the studio wouldn't shelve them. Instead, they would have replaced them with new talent because they are too important to the overall story. Notice that I've said T'Challa more so than Black Panther, because I believe the character is more important than the mantle. Anyone can be Black Panther. In fact, numerous people in the comics have earned the title, including T'Challa's own sister, Shuri. There's a strong chance that the inventor and any one of the ruler's close friends can don a new costume, assuming the role, or even a new character. The succession of the Black Panther mantle is something I've discussed here already on the channel, following a recent casting announcement, which may play into the future of the franchise. I'll link the video below in the description. Yes, T'Challa is the most prominent character to have carried the Black Panther title, but it's a role that he inherited. The mantle is far less relevant than the man we knew. Wakanda Forever is set to pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman in a meaningful way, but no matter how they handle his death, we will feel his absence. My guess is that retiring T'Challa is just a way of allowing enough time to pass for everyone to mourn the actor's death and reach a point where his passing is not fresh on our minds. 3 to 4 years from now, maybe longer, we will still remember the actor, but his death will have lost the same impact it carried in the first couple of months after his passing was announced. Even the year leading up to Black Panther Wakanda Forever's release, and the months after the sequel film completes its theatrical run, we will all be emotional at first, but it will get easier to move past this hurdle. So years from now, they are sure to bring him back into the MCU, and he will most definitely be played by a new actor, which people will be willing to accept. It will be jarring at first, but as long as they hire someone who brings something that doesn't try to imitate Boseman's take, we'll get over the change. I mean no disrespect to Chadwick Boseman. To me, he was my Black Panther, the first actor I'd associate with the role, and considered to be the definitive version of the character in live action. But just as we have multiple versions of Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, James Bond, why not Black Panther? We as people experience change in our personal and professional lives and within the wider world that makes us adapt. So seeing a fictional character who holds a lot of meaning in what he represents for people of color evolve wouldn't be difficult compared to change in the real world. So that's my overall thoughts on the matter. Let's welcome the inevitable change that should happen. It will be good for the character and for the person who poured his heart and soul into giving us a black icon. Don't let the work he brought to life end with his death. As with any tradition or innovation that exists, we remember those who played a part in shaping it. By continuing their work, their contribution towards something never is forgotten, no matter how much time has passed. Chadwick Boseman will forever be immortalized in our community and in the hearts of everyone who had the pleasure to work and become friends with the talent. This is one star that will not fade into obscurity. So thoughts on my comments. What would you say is the best way to handle the T'Challa character moving forward in the MCU? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways folks, that's all for now. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment below. And hey, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea. And that's okay. Just remember to take care and stay safe.